Literature has evolved over centuries, giving birth to countless genres that explore every facet of human experience. Some works, however, have transcended mere storytelling to create entirely new genres. These pioneering books have influenced not only their respective genres but the entire literary world. Below is a list of 10 such books that have fundamentally shaped literary traditions and genres. 1. Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. Widely regarded as the first science fiction novel, Frankenstein, 1818, combined elements of Gothic horror and early speculative fiction. The novel's exploration of man's desire to control nature and the consequences of scientific experimentation laid the groundwork for what would later become the science fiction genre. Shelley's vision of a scientist playing God with nature and creating life paved the way for countless works in the genre. 2. Dracula by Bram Stoker. Stoker's 1897 novel Dracula defined the vampire genre. While vampires existed in folklore long before, it was Dracula that popularized the modern image of the vampire, a dark, mysterious figure who embodies both seduction and terror. This Gothic horror novel introduced the archetypes and themes of vampires as creatures of the night, with immortality, bloodlust, and supernatural power becoming core elements of vampire fiction. 3. The Call of Cthulhu by H.P. Lovecraft. Lovecraft's short story The Call of Cthulhu, 1928, is the cornerstone of the horror subgenre known as cosmic horror. His creation of an indifferent, chaotic universe full of ancient, godlike entities challenged traditional horror narratives that focused on personal or localized evil. Lovecraft's writing inspired a generation of writers to delve into the idea that humans are insignificant in the face of vast, unknowable forces. 4. The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. While Tolkien's The Hobbit, 1937, is often regarded as a children's book, its influence on the high fantasy genre is immeasurable. Tolkien's world building, complete with elves, dwarfs, wizards, and epic quests, became the blueprint for modern fantasy fiction. His intricate languages, mythical creatures, and expansive history laid the foundation for the genre that would later include The Lord of the Rings and influence countless other works of fantasy. 5. The Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. Published in 1915, The Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka is a cornerstone of existential literature. Kafka's surreal tale of Gregor Samsa, who wakes up one morning to find himself transformed into a giant insect, gave rise to a genre known as absurdism. The story's exploration of alienation, identity, and the meaninglessness of existence set the stage for a wave of writers and thinkers who questioned societal norms and individual purpose. 6. 1984 by George Orwell. Orwell's 1984, 1949, is often cited as the quintessential dystopian novel. It coined terms like Big Brother and thought crime, while introducing the concept of totalitarian regimes controlling every aspect of citizens' lives. The book became a cornerstone of dystopian literature, inspiring an entire genre of novels that explore themes of surveillance, government control, and the loss of personal freedoms, including Brave New World and Fahrenheit 451. 7. Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice, 1813, is one of the most beloved novels in English literature, but its influence extends far beyond its romantic plot. Austen's exploration of social class, marriage, and individual autonomy shaped the modern romance genre. Her focus on strong, independent heroines and the complexities of romantic relationships continues to influence contemporary romantic fiction and even adaptations in film and television. 8. The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes by Arthur Conan Doyle. Sherlock Holmes, introduced in A Study in Scarlet, 1887, and solidified in The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, 1892, became the definitive detective genre template. Conan Doyle's brilliant detective and his faithful companion Dr. Watson revolutionized crime fiction, establishing key elements of the genre, including the brilliant detective with unparalleled observation skills, the dark, mysterious villain, and the detailed, logical process of solving crimes. 9. Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. Another entry for Frankenstein is its lasting influence on the Gothic horror genre. Though it's often seen through the lens of science fiction, its roots in Gothic horror are clear. The dark, brooding atmosphere, the presence of death and resurrection, and the moral quandaries posed by the experiment set the stage for numerous Gothic horror novels and adaptations that followed in Shelley's wake. 10. The Well of Loneliness by Radclyffe Hall. Published in 1928, The Well of Loneliness is a landmark novel in LGBTQ+ literature. While not the first to address issues of sexual orientation, it was one of the first to do so openly and unapologetically. Hall's exploration of lesbian identity, love, and society's repression of non-heteronormative relationships laid the groundwork for LGBTQ+ literature and was instrumental in giving voice to marginalized communities in literature. These 10 books did not just tell a story, they created genres, influencing generations of writers and readers. Through their innovation, these works helped shape literary traditions that still thrive today, proving that one book can change the way we think about stories forever.